There is no bigger oxymoron in the world of entertainment than reality television. And I'm sure you don't need me to tell you that. The genie's out of the bottle on this one. The horse has left the barn, the ink is dry. Reality television shows, especially those that are centered around interpersonal drama, tend to be facetious. Your favorite hilariously bad American Idol audition may have been staged, and your favorite restaurant that Gordon Ramsay supposedly helped on Kitchen Nightmares is statistically likely to have closed shortly thereafter. It is a known fact that these shows twist and warp footage to fit a pre-planned narrative.
I could not believe what they'd done. They switched my answers around. The answers that you see are not the answers that I gave to the questions that they asked.
Case in point, here's a clip from Hell's Kitchen that haunts my nightmares.
Danny's ego is getting the better of him and he needs to come back down to this planet.
Yeah, so, he was clearly just moving that chair, but because the editors wanted to convey him as angry and out of control, they added a shake effect and a sound to try to make it seem like he threw it. These shows are going to be the death of me. And we haven't even gotten into how some of these shows treat their contestants like cattle.
They are in control of every element of your life. You're put in a hotel room and you don't have a key.
But despite the fact that many of these shows are quite objectionable once you take a peek behind the curtain, they're only picking up steam. One of the biggest shows last year was Beast Games, yet another show with some questionable ethics behind it. The current president of the United States is a former reality TV star, and the cast and crew of that show do not have kind things to say about him. And the reason these shows keep getting made is because people won't stop watching them. And you know what the worst part is? I can't even say that I blame them, because these shows are damn entertaining. They're the television equivalent of potato chips. You know you shouldn't indulge, but sometimes you've had a long day and you just can't help yourself. The glossy sheen of these shows can frequently distract viewers from just how bullshit they are. That being said, what if there was a show that had all of the bad qualities most reality shows possess, without having any of the good qualities that typically distract a viewer? What if there was a show so incompetently made that it essentially served as a glimpse under the hood of reality TV, laying bare its manipulative tactics for all to see? Well, that show exists, and it's called The Tester.
Selected from thousands of applicants, dedicated gamers match skills in a series of challenges to earn the chance for a job at PlayStation. On The Tester.
This show is a strange beast. The premise is that a dozen gamers must compete in a series of semi-gaming related challenges to determine who is the most deserving of a job at PlayStation as a game tester. It was conceived by Sony, and it's pretty clear from watching it that the real purpose of the show is to sell Sony products.
Oh my god, I'm actually touching this in my hand.
But despite that, it never stopped pretending to be a real show, and because it insists upon being taken seriously as a legitimate reality show, I'm going to treat it as such. And boy, is this show ever unintentionally hilarious.
I spent over $1 million in gaming. I buy every game there is. I have had every single console that has ever been out. I don't have a relationship, I don't have a social life because I'm gaming.
Finally, someone relatable. Everyone on this show is referred to by their PlayStation gamer tag instead of their real name, which I'm just gonna say now, by the way, I'm not gonna do. When I talk about someone, I'm gonna use their real name so that I don't have to call this man Reality Pales or this man Sky Diddy. Just putting that out there. The Tester ran for 3 seasons between 2010 and 2012, with each new episode being free to download for PlayStation Network subscribers. However, when the 3rd and final season rolled around, in an effort to boost viewership, episodes were also posted on YouTube for free. Something that's become commonplace for a lot of big productions now, but was actually quite ahead of its time. Whilst the show never really caught on, it still attracted enough viewership to fuel a litany of controversies. The first and most obvious point of contention is with the grand prize. Being a game tester is not a good job. In fact, it's kind of a bad one. It's also an entry-level position. In theory, anyone could be a game tester. You don't need any qualifications. Despite this, the show acts like being a game tester is a prize worth fighting tooth and nail for.
The 11 of you standing before me were selected from thousands of applicants to compete in a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and land the coveted job of the next PlayStation Game Tester.
It's like if there was a show called The Fryer and the grand prize was a job at McDonald's. I'll admit that this is a hilarious concept for a show, but not for the right reasons. The biggest wave of controversy the show ever faced, however, came during the 3rd season, and it was all because of one particular contestant. Aaron Hansen, otherwise known as Egoraptor. You see, Aaron was already a well-known content creator on YouTube and Newgrounds when he appeared on the show, and because of this, he brought with him a sizable fan base. However, it quickly became clear he wasn't necessarily taking the competition seriously, not that I can blame him, which basically meant that the show's star contestant was just there to troll the show. Truly, a recipe for fantastic television. Except, that's not what we got. What we got is probably the worst season of reality television I've ever seen. And I've seen more than I wish I had.
I appreciate you trying to cheer me up, Sackboy.
Why didn't you stay and help your teammates shoot the melons? Your game ends here.
I'm sick of talking about things that require some amount of thought. It's time for a nice, healthy dose of stupid. It's time for the tester. First things first, I forced my roommate to watch this entire season with me, so this video will be interspersed with our live reactions to these episodes. I thought it would enrich the experience.
The Tester 3.
So the season opens with this awkward car ride, and right off the bat, you can see Aaron making weird faces in the background that they clearly tried to edit around, but were unsuccessful. Truly a harbinger of what's to come. One thing I find humorous about this show is that all 3 seasons have identical opening scenes. And I don't just mean that they all open with the contestants in the car. I mean the talking heads that we see are almost carbon copies of each other.
These people, they're so screwed. Like, they have no idea. I am a pro gamer. I'm basically the top-ranking female in the world.
Probably one of the highest girl gamers I know. I'm currently a level 12. I have over 1,000 trophies. My aim is to prove that us girl gamers are just as good as guys out there. And
I definitely feel like people underestimate me, whether it's because I'm a girl or they think I'm attractive or I have tattoos or I don't look like a gamer, but I know my shit. I don't really give a about anybody else here. And when I want something, I usually get it.
It's painfully obvious that they were prodded by the interviewers to give these answers. Aaron even went out of his way to make fun of this in his application video.
We'll show those girl gamers that guy gamers can game just as good as they can.
Honestly, I'm still amazed that they let him onto the show. Then the contestants arrive at the tester house. I don't know what it's called. The testing zone. The test lab. And the show decides to hit us with the first uncomfortable, creepy moment of many.
I was walking in there and I saw Meredith looking hot as always. She stepped it up though. She was wearing some leather pleather or something. My heart exploded and it was done. The ambiance is crazy. Not just the ambiance per se, but dude, the shorties that came to this show, you got your little fiery redhead, little pale gothic chick always sets it off. Of course, Asians are at the top of my boat.
We've barely met any of the contestants. We're not even 2 minutes in yet, and the editors very wisely decided to show us this. It's very important that we as viewers know that this man is creepy.
Keep an eye on this guy.
And you want this too.
Welcome.
I'm glad I now know where he stands.
So it's here that the host comes out and then tries as hard as she can to make it sound like this show has a real prize.
You will not only be testing games, you will be working as a production associate on the next big PlayStation 3 blockbuster.
Production associate, you say? Now that sounds like a step up from being a tester. So what does that actually mean? Well, based on everything I can gather, nothing. It means nothing. It's still just a QA job. And whilst the term production associate sounds a lot more fancy than game tester, as far as the winner of this season was concerned, it seems to have been the same thing. They definitely didn't have creative power over any games. That being said, I commended the producers of this show for their sleight of hand, trying to make it seem like the winner gets an important job. I see what you guys are doing. And just in case all this isn't enough, the producers also threw in a bonus to sweeten the deal.
The winner of Tester 3 will be arriving to Santa Monica Studio in that 2012 Ford Focus Titanium parked out front.
Look guys, this time they're giving you a car. A middle-of-the-road car at that. Now when you're pulling into your dead-end entry-level job every day, at least you can do it with power steering.
It's time for ads!
Oh, what's that? It's time for some PlayStation product placement.
And there's PlayStations everywhere. There's TVs. The upcoming PlayStation Vita, which I have been eagerly anticipating for like a year now.
That is going to happen a lot. Get used to it.
I'm actually touching this in my hand.
And before anything even happens, before we get into the first challenge, the show makes it clear to us who the villain of the season is going to be. Yeah, you know how pretty much every reality show has like an unlikable contestant or a villain that generates drama, and the whole idea is that you'll want to keep watching because you want to see the more likable contestants defeat them. Yeah, this show immediately singles out this contestant, Lizarette, as the one you're supposed to hate, and it does this by showing a bunch of random out-of-context clips of her being loud.
Yo, PlayStation Network!
I was this Gaiden, and she was making an ass out of herself.
And I was wondering if you'd like to see it.
And I was just like, oh my God.
He's mine. Mine.
I'm sorry. I thought that we all had to be over a certain age to be on the show.
Now, it's hard to be sure of anything since reality TV is always so manipulated, but from what I saw here, it seems like she might be a touch socially awkward. Like, she's a fairly abrasive sense of humor that doesn't totally gel with all of the other contestants. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I bring it up because pretty much everyone on the show, and I'm including the producers in that, are so mean to her that I just feel bad for her. Like the way they talk about her, you'd think that she's responsible for the burning of the Library of Alexandria and all the other ills of the world. I suspect she was just brought onto the show to be the punching bag.
I don't think I really like this girl.
And I have a feeling that the reason the other contestants bring her up so often in their talking heads is because the interviewers kept prodding them to. Hey, you know Suskaiden, she's pretty annoying, right? Did she do anything today that annoyed you?
Oh my God! I can jump here!
She comes in and basically acts like the place is hers.
Keep in mind, she hasn't actually done anything wrong apart from like, not passing the vibe check, but reality TV needs a villain, so it's gonna be you. So finally after this we get to meet the season's judges, but it immediately becomes clear that they have a very misplaced sense of self-importance.
Our first panelist is someone you should be very familiar with. Please welcome Mr. Brent Goki, Senior Release Manager, Global First Party Quality Assurance.
Be really familiar with yeah, you know?
It's time for
Oh, I guess it's time for more product placement, guys.
The soon-to-be-released PlayStation Vita system.
What a cool-looking console. I sure hope it succeeds. And then we learn what the very first challenge is going to be.
Since you'll undoubtedly be encountering a few bugs in your new job, we thought we'd kick off this competition with some of our own.
What the heck, you know what I'm saying?
They have to give an interview with their head in a box full of cockroaches. You guys might think that there's no way this could be true, but this is the closest that any of the challenges this season actually come to being about game testing. Why? Because it's a pun about dealing with bugs. Get it? I can only assume that when this show's Imagineers came up with the idea for this challenge, they envisioned it returning hilarious footage of contestants squirming and struggling to speak with cockroaches crawling all over their face. That would be truly great television, am I right? But unfortunately for them, not a single contestant actually struggled to deal with the bugs. Not one. This guy twitched a bit. I don't know if that counts. So all we're left with is footage of 12 fairly regular interviews where cockroaches just happened to be in frame the whole time.
What are some of your special skills outside of gaming?
I actually used to be a contortionist and a fire blower.
Not great television.
Do you live with your ma?
Yes, I do live with my mom.
It kind of seems like the creators didn't anticipate this outcome because they, for some reason, decided to make this opening challenge, which happens before we've even gotten to know anyone, a double elimination. And since no one reacted to the bugs badly, the judges have to somehow pick 2 people to kick off based solely on their interview answers. And that's where Aaron's interview comes into play. At one point they ask him,
what do you think's gonna make you stand out within this competition?
I think I stand out because I'm funny, I got an audience. I think I'll pull in the watchers, you know, I'll pull in the viewers, get a lot of new fans from here.
And they are absolutely incensed by his answer.
Are you here for the attention?
Do you even own a PS3?
What do you mean you came onto a television show to get exposure? You should be here so that you might have a chance at a minimum wage entry-level job that you can do in place of your successful internet career, you scoundrel. Now, on any other reality show that has real challenges, this wouldn't have mattered much, but because they have literally nothing to work with, this one passive admission from Aaron puts him up for elimination.
Egoraptor, when we asked you why you were here, you pretty much admitted that it was all about appealing to your online fans. I mean, what have you got to say for yourself?
What have you got to say for yourself? You son of a bitch. You piece of shit.
The message this is sending here is that when we ask you a question, we don't want you to give us the truth. We just want you to tell us what we want to hear. It's like Tyra Banks yelling at a contestant on America's Next Top Model because she didn't cry when she got eliminated.
I'm sick of crying about stuff that I cannot change.
Stop it! I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you? You roll in your eyes and you act like this because you've heard it all before.
You can't look like you don't care, then people won't take the show seriously. Now, the number one tactic these shows like to use is out-of-context clips. And a great example of that comes when they try to edit it to make it look like Aaron's really sad that he might get sent home.
I'm thinking they're gonna call my name. I'm going home.
I believe that was like a shot of him like grabbing something from his bed and then trying to edit it to make it look like he was crying. Yeah.
Now, according to a comment from what seems to be the official Reddit profile of one of the contestants, though it's worth noting this could be an imposter even though I think it's unlikely, Aaron was just pulling a joke here, but the producers edited out the joke to try to make it look like he was just slumped over his bunk bed crying. Classic. Oh, and also this comment refers to Lizarette as a crazy, loud, obnoxious thing. You know, based on how they usually talk about her, that makes me think this comment is probably authentic. Regardless, other friends of Aaron have come forward to say the same thing.
Like, Aaron, like, fake cried, like, oh, I can't believe I lost. And then, like, played sad music and then edited it so it looked like he was actually crying on the tester. Like, get fucked.
And Aaron himself has complained about how his interview clips were spliced up to make him seem more egotistical than he actually is.
I've got a big following on the internet. I know there's a target on my back.
I just love how they edited it because they were like, tell us about your YouTube channel. Like, you have a lot of subscribers, don't you? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, I have a lot of subscribers. And then like in the show, they edit it for, it's like, they're like, so here you are talking to us. And I'm like, I have 1 million subscribers.
And if you want any idea of just how much they're grasping at straws here, they couldn't even come up with a legitimate reason to nominate another contestant. Like the other girl that they put up for elimination, Ashford, she's only there because they say that, well, she did fine, they can't remember her interview.
After we went through everyone's interviews before the elimination, I said, I don't really remember much.
Though you were cool, calm, collected, and very professional, it didn't stick.
And they end up kicking her off too, for that. For her introduction not being memorable enough in their eyes.
I'm sorry, you didn't stand out, and so your game ends here.
Like, imagine spending months petitioning to get onto a reality show. You finally get accepted on, you say goodbye to your family, get on a plane, go to a strange city, spend a few nights in a hotel, show up to film the first episode, only to get immediately kicked off because the judges are like, so, we need to kick someone off the show, and it's looking like it's gonna be you. You didn't really do anything wrong, but you have, like a forgettable face. Your game ends here. So that's one contestant down, but remember, this is a double elimination, which means someone else also has to go. And logically, based on what they've said, that person should be Aaron because he's the only other person that, in their eyes, gave a bad interview. But here's the problem. The only reason people were watching this show at this point was because Aaron was on it, and they knew that, so they couldn't kick off Aaron. And they don't.
Well, Egoraptor, our intentions was to get rid of 2 members tonight. There was 12 of you, and now there's 11. I'll let you say, your fans, they won't save you again.
Like, as if you couldn't rub any more salt in the wound of the contestant you kicked off for no reason, then you immediately proceed to not kick off the other contestant who was up for elimination just because they're famous and you need ratings. It's okay, they punish him by forcing him to sleep on the couch.
You can have a spot on the couch.
And so concludes episode 1 of The Tester. Considering how little actually happened, it really didn't justify its 30-minute runtime, but unfortunately this show is kind of just a bloated monolith of nothingness. right, moving upwards and onwards. The episode opens with everyone just kind of chatting about how unfair it is that Aaron gets to stay on the show.
I'm a little pissed, because where's our special treatment? He got to defend himself. You didn't. That's crap. I'm not a fan of this at all.
And then we see a quote-unquote alliance get brokered between Lizarette and Charles.
So pitch it to me.
I want us to form an alliance. I want to be in an alliance with him because I think this guy is good to keep him on your side.
What the fuck are you talking about? This isn't the kind of show where alliances fucking matter. It's random bullshit Taskmaster challenges. How's an alliance gonna...
My favorite part of that, she's drinking wine, he's drinking milk.
He's a real gamer.
If it wasn't obvious, this is just filler before the first challenge of the episode takes place, where they race in Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal.
Oh, yeah! For this challenge, everyone has to split into 2 teams, and of course, the way that teams are selected is that everyone's chosen one by one like it's middle school dodgeball.
I'm gonna have to go with reality.
Of course.
Which clearly illustrates who's unpopular right out of the gate. And what do you know, it's Aaron and Lizarette.
Option A, Skyden, who's already rubbing people the wrong way. Option B, Egoraptor. He makes an ass out of himself all the time. I'm just like, oh, really?
Ultimately, Aaron gets chosen over her, leaving her without a team. So the way that it works is that the losing team gets saddled with her.
You defeated your enemy first and won the advantage for your team. Which means, Kaiden, you will be joining Team Dollface.
I wouldn't feel so bad if my loss didn't stick us with Kaiden.
Yeah, they designed the game so that the punishment for losing is that you have Lizarette on your team.
Why do they hate her so much?
I know.
Talking
I think it's so brutal that she's like the loss. She could easily be the win.
Yeah, wait,
If you lose, you get hurt.
Like me, it's pretty clear.
It's like so mean.
So now the teams are sorted and everybody has to dress up in clown costumes, which I suppose is fitting since this whole thing is one big clown show.
And I'm a little aroused by some of you, but I'm not going to tell you which one, so...
That's a bit weird.
That did not age well.
That's slightly odd.
So the challenge is that they have to build a car, and I say that in the loosest sense possible, and then get in it and shoot like a Nerf gun at some targets. That's the best that like a whole team of people could come up with for a show that's supposedly about game testing. That's the challenge.
I really hope there's one challenge, just one, where they actually have to find bugs.
I think you'll be...
I don't think it's gonna happen though.
It's about as exciting to watch this challenge unfold as it is to describe it.
This is like the last day of school in like elementary school, your teacher will have like a fun event planned. And it'll be like a scavenger hunt, and maybe you'll like shoot water guns, and then there'll be pizza. Like this is that.
Aaron's team completely ignores him as they're building their car.
Is there a small bolt in a big hole?
Nobody's listening.
Lizarette says something to herself in Spanish at one point, and her team gets really mad at her for that, even though she was clearly speaking to herself.
Calm down. Speak English.
And ultimately, Team Sweet Tooth wins. This leads to almost 10 minutes of just padded drama.
She wasn't communicating with her. It was.
Who started speaking in a language that the teammate didn't understand.
I don't care. Why does it matter that she said a few words in Spanish at one point when she was frustrated?
There's 6 people on your team and only one's going.
And only one spoke Spanish during the challenge. And wow, yo, why are you studying drama? Like, I was not even talking to you.
Drama.
Talking Spanish, I said one phrase in Spanish. And yo.
So this contestant, Nicole, starts trying as hard as she can to get Lizarette kicked off the show.
All of a sudden, she's talking in Spanish. I don't understand Spanish. I don't know what she said. I don't know if she was giving me instructions.
Wow, you honestly think you would have won if she wouldn't have spoke a few words in Spanish? That's crazy.
That I did not say.
Who cares? Really?
My apologies.
This is a guest judge that's sticking up for Lizarette, by the way. That's significant because this is the only time throughout the whole show that one of the judges, actively defends her. I guess the producers never gave him the briefing that Lizarette is Satan.
I'm still trying my hardest to try to get everything done as quickly as possible. I look over and I see Skyden crying. And I just, no, just keep going.
I was not crying. I had makeup on my eyes and I was cleaning it off.
Obviously, there was no chance of Lizarette being kicked off in this episode anyways, because she's the show's drama cow, and so Nicole ends up going home instead. And that's it for episode 2.
I think we have now learned that cabron does not mean hand me the bolt.
Welcome to the most controversial episode of the show. We immediately start with multiple minutes of padding, so I'll just skip on past that to the beginning of the challenge. Now, allegedly, this challenge is Uncharted themed.
Today's challenge is inspired by the ultimate action-adventure game, Uncharted Golden Abyss.
But nothing about the outfits they're wearing or the location or anything they're doing seems to have anything to do with Uncharted to me.
You must use the giant slingshot to launch your cantaloupe at 5 targets.
How is this of any connection to Uncharted?
Yeah, I was really wondering. It seems like Call of Duty because it seems like they're in a war zone.
It does seem like something like that.
How is this Uncharted?
It's like terrorists?
So the gamers have to split into 2 teams again.
Achilles, Ninja, Egoraptor, Burn, and Sue Skaden. You're the tan team.
She's naming off everybody, and then it's like, me, and then it's so Skyden. I'm just like, am I being punished?
Thank you to the editor for adding a record scratch sound after Suskaiden was read out.
Burn and Sue Skaden. You're the tan team.
It really drives home the fact that she sucks, and it would suck to have to be on a team with her, or talk to her, or look at her. The first team we watch is the tan team, which is the one that has Aaron on it. He seems to do very well. He hits his target immediately, and then he goes back to get ammo for everyone else.
I make my shot, hit. We are rocking. I'm getting more ammo. That's my job now.
The rest of the team also seems to do quite well.
You fight and you overcome.
This guy is an absolute unit. Well, except for one contestant who struggles to hit her target for a while and then blames Lizarette.
Good stuff.
Once she left to get more melons, and once everybody kind of backed off, I hit my target really fast.
It was actually her fault. Oh my god! It was actually her fault that I was.
Are you serious?
Then you get to watch the other team do the exact same thing, at which point it really starts to sink in how boring this footage is.
I'm going back, guys.
Go ahead.
I'm just watching a bunch of geeks put melons in a slingshot and then, launch it a few feet. Is this exciting television? Tim, what are we gonna do? This footage sucks, but the episode has to be done in 3 hours. Don't worry, Larry. I got it. We'll add goofy cartoon sound effects over it, which will make it automatically funny. Oh my god, Tim. You are a genius. This is comedy gold. So based on what we're shown, it seems like the second team struggles more than the first one did. Both teams had a completely clean field at the beginning of their attempt, and it's plainly visible that there were far more melons littering the field after the second team's attempt than the first, implying that they missed more shots. But despite this, the judges say that the second team won the challenge.
Tan team, you completed your mission in 9 minutes, 10 seconds. Black team, you completed your mission in 8 minutes, 15 seconds.
Let's go!
Then because the episode has to fill 30 minutes, we get a bunch of bloated scenes where nothing happens.
It's time for air!
The graphics! Look at that, you can aim out.
It's an incredible experience.
They paid Nolan North to show up for 5 minutes.
Hey, anybody want to play some Uncharted? All right, well listen, hey, I'm gonna get out of here. You guys, congratulations.
At least the episode connects to Uncharted somehow.
Nolan North. He is Drake.
And then another ridiculously long elimination scene. I wonder who everyone's gonna blame.
I feel like there is one specific person that isn't here for the right reasons. I feel like Skyden.
It seems that all you can do is talk bad about me so you can look good.
Judges asked her a question and she answered it truthfully. They're not sitting here asking for bullshit. They're asking for truthful answers. I truly have to agree. I can't see her working in a studio.
A lot of reality shows drag out the elimination scenes, but what they don't do is have the contestants deliberate on who should be eliminated for 7 minutes. What's the point? You already know who you're going to eliminate, and that may never have been more true than in this episode, where I personally think the judges knew who they were going to eliminate before the episode had even been filmed.
You've been the bottom 3 times. 3 out of 3. For that reason, I'm sorry, your game ends here.
Are you fucking serious?
The stupidest decision I've ever, like, what?
They genuinely kick Aaron off here, despite the fact that he was arguably the MVP of his team in this episode, because he also didn't win the other 2 challenges. But just to refresh your memory, he didn't even get to play at all in episode 2, so that really had nothing to do with him. And the only thing he did wrong in episode 1 was answer a question honestly and say that part of why he was there was to grow his audience. That's still their only legitimate grievance with him, so it's still the interview that's chiefly why he's being kicked off the show, only it's happening 2 episodes after it should have. If you're gonna kick him off, at least kick him off in an episode where he didn't do well.
Why didn't you stay and help your teammates shoot the melons? And that's kind of what I wrote down as one of my main notes for why I think your team lost.
Why didn't he help his teammates shoot the melons? Because you repeatedly made it clear that that's not allowed?
One team member can hit each target. Seuss Kaiden, back off.
Also, here's Aaron talking about this years later on Game Grumps.
I was like, all right, this is what you do. Just aim a little bit above the target and pull all the way back and you're good. And everyone was like, all right. And then they did really well. But I got accused of like not staying behind to like teach my team how to shoot the melons. Even though I did, but they cut it out.
Here's the thing. Since being on the show, Aaron has said that he suspects this episode was rigged.
I'm pretty sure the last episode was rigged.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
The melons, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't even teach them how to use the melons.
Well, not only that, but like I'm pretty sure the other team like took a little bit longer.
Yeah, they totally had. No, there was a way to tell. There was more melons on the firing field than your team had.
Well, it just felt like it. Like when we were waiting for them, we were like, man, they're taking a really long time. And like they had some problem where they had to like restart or something, or like something like that. Something that costed them a lot of time, and we could hear it, but they didn't put it in the episode.
Of course they didn't. It's fucking reality TV, man.
Yeah, it's hilarious that
whatever.
they chose that episode to kick me off on, because like that was the one where I was like absolutely the most helpful.
It would have served their purposes if Aaron had done poorly in this challenge, but unfortunately for them, he did exceedingly well in it. So they mighta, kinda, sorta lied and said that his team lost when they didn't, as a means to justify kicking him off. Now this is all alleged, there's no hard evidence of anything, I want to be clear. However, when talking about this, Aaron also points out that another contestant from season 2 has accused the show of rigging challenges.
8-Bit Mickey, who was on the second season of the Tester, also came out and said that he thinks that one challenge was rigged, and he won that challenge.
Personally, I think they decided as early as episode 1 that they were going to kick him off, because he wasn't taking the competition as seriously as they wanted, and he wouldn't start drama with other contestants.
I don't want to say something that's going to end up with someone getting eliminated.
And I guess they figured that if they kept him on for 3 episodes, his fans would get hooked enough on the show that they'd keep watching after he was kicked off. That didn't happen. Episode 4, more like episode bore. The episode opens with a Street Fighter face-off.
He's literally just smashing. Yeah. He's not playing. They're both doing it. They're both just smashing.
And then everyone splits up into teams once again.
I don't want Seuss Kaiden to be the leader.
Oh my god, do we need more of this?
The challenge in this one is that they have to choreograph a fighting scene, and the team with the best fight scene wins. You know, for what it's worth, this is the only challenge so far that actually encourages some creativity from the contestants. I mean, does it have anything to do with game testing? No, but I don't expect that anymore. There are a few moments when you almost start to see some fun and personality shining through, a bit like a plant growing through a sidewalk.
And my signature move is firing tiger.
But the show does its very best to pluck this fun out like a weed the second it emerges. This reminds me a lot of the kind of challenges you see on something like Taskmaster. But on Taskmaster, they're self-aware that these challenges are silly, and they don't actually berate the contestants for doing poorly as if they made a genuine mistake that they should be ashamed of.
What the fuck's going on?
Also, it doesn't rely on fake drama for ratings. Watching the judges try to scrounge together justification for kicking off 2 contestants based on a challenge as goofy as this is just absurd.
My feeling on it was that the character lacked sort of a clear identity, so the story wandered a little bit, I thought.
Today's challenge was all about creativity. We didn't see that stand out.
Fuck you, Brad. Your entire life is lacking creativity.
This is the most boring human being I've ever seen.
Cracker.
Ultimately, Richard gets sent home, and it seems like it comes down to the fact that he briefly ran out of breath at one point.
They wanted me to... I'm sorry, I just lost my breath.
That's all it takes to get kicked off of the show. Each episode of the show has some extra scenes posted on YouTube, just in case the show's 30-minute runtime wasn't enough for you. But these extra scenes don't have any obnoxious editing, they just show the contestants having fun and being natural, and it's 1,000 times better than the actual show.
Good evening, testers, and welcome to your 4th elimination. Today, you were tested on your ability to eat bugs.
Why couldn't it have just been like this? Why couldn't you have made a show centered around fun? Stop treating this like a real competition. Oh, and also, the second team is allowed to watch the first team's fight before they go.
Oh shit, we get to watch it. Oh wow, we actually get to watch their performance?
Which is completely unfair for self-evident reasons. Like if there are any moves they like from the first team's presentation, or if they realize that there was something that they were missing that the first team had, they can easily make last-minute changes to implement it into theirs, which is an advantage the first team didn't have. But why am I even pretending that this is a legitimate contest? Episode 5 is where I think they really started running out of ideas, and yes, I'm saying that. I know that the last 4 episodes weren't exactly brimming with originality, but in this one, they're just like, fuck it, put stuff in sand, put blindfolds on them, they'll find stuff in sand. That's the episode, I don't fucking know.
I got a twiggy thingy. I'm pretty sure I have a frisbee-like object.
The most interesting thing that happens here is that the winners of the challenge get to go to Santa Monica Studios to meet their potential future bosses. And again, it's heavily implied that they're going to be like working in a creative position, like shaping these games, which just isn't true. It's just flatly a lie. One of them in particular, Skylar, clearly has no idea how to give this kind of job interview and just completely botches it to the point that he has no chance of ever working here, and it's rough to sit through.
What do you think that you'll bring to the team?
I feel just like the Little Big Planet opening. Everybody dreaming off in the world, got a wild little ideas all throwing out their brain and all that crap. That's what I feel. I have a lot of creativity in my brain to like the shit.
Hold on, what are we supposed to say? Oh, Diddy.
Can you draw?
In my brain.
Oh my god, Diddy.
Stop, man.
And then another 10-minute elimination scene. Yay!
We talked a lot before this elimination.
Yeah, you did.
Your game ends here.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
She fumbled with finding a sword in the sand. Out. Not a professional. We want working at PlayStation.
You can't test games. You couldn't find a basket.
You couldn't find a single spear.
This is, I think, the meanest episode of the show because the whole thing is designed to get the contestants fighting for the sake of generating drama. Or to be more precise, it was designed to get everyone ganging up on Lizarette.
This is our opportunity to just dog Skyden.
Everyone's given a survey with questions like, who's the most annoying? Who doesn't belong here?
I don't want to answer those things.
I'm expecting them to be gaming-related questions, but these questions are just ridiculous.
This is suck up to the judges.
Who is the least creative person in this competition?
Who doesn't belong in the competition?
Then, in the following challenge, the players have to guess what the most popular choice for each question was before the host reads it aloud. That is just fucking pathetic.
We took a poll from the loft to find out what you think about your fellow competitors. We've reviewed your answers.
And now we're going to publicly make you say them to generate drama.
Like you're that desperate for content that you'll design a challenge that intentionally forces the competitors to badmouth each other? Oh, I wonder who's gonna get the worst of it.
Who is the most annoying in the loft? Most common answer was Skyden.
Skyden is sort of like a parasitic life form.
This is bullying. This is just bullying for the sake of entertainment on TV.
She could have at least taken some off her top and built it up.
I hear them talking about me. I just think it's really up that you said I'm annoying when I don't even talk to anybody. I come to my bed and sleep.
And after this, they all gang up on her very directly.
You did a funny ass laugh. That shit was annoying. Like, what the
I honestly feel like you need to relax. Maybe people thought you're annoying because you're
sleeping
loud.
and the only person who has taken the moment to be like, hey, let me get to know you is him.
Okay, then go back to your bell tower.
Huh?
We're just trying to be nice to you, that's all.
No, you're not trying to be nice.
No, you're all horrible people. But to be fair, the show's making you into this, so.
She did it to herself. No, she does what she always does. She throws a fit, she weeps, she wails.
This show is infuriating to watch. However, for the sake of fairness, I will point out that Charles and Wilson said on a podcast shortly after the season aired that the editing here was manipulative in that it made it look like they were trashing Lizarette more than they actually were.
The first thing I want to talk about, just real quick, is we were, and I think it's like really twisted with the editing, we weren't talking about Subscribe like the whole time. Like we were just basically like going over what happened in the challenge in general and how each of us did. You know, the way they made it seem, it was like, oh, we were just, you know, talking about what she did wrong and
Piling it on, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, here she comes, and we're like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Man, remember when this show was supposed to be about video game related challenges? I sure miss that. Technically, the main objective of the challenge is to build a really high tower with some blocks.
This competition's about towering over your competitors, something I'm very...
Which you'd think is straightforward. The person who builds the least tall tower gets eliminated. But no, if it worked like that, then everyone would know who was going home the minute the challenge was over, and they couldn't stuff in a bloated 10-minute long who's gonna get eliminated scene. So instead, it's up to the judge's discretion who gets kicked off.
You were right next to Sky Diddy, and I don't think you necessarily adapted as well as you could have.
Shut up, Brent! I mean, the writing was on the wall at this point. This was the episode where Lizarette was supposed to go home. The fact that she actually had the shortest tower was just sort of a stroke of luck for the producers, I'd say.
Honestly, when I got those surveys, I kind of felt like Siskaiden would be the one going home, regardless of what the challenge was after that.
Then everyone just starts going in on her.
You were voted the most annoying, doesn't belong in this competition.
She's laughing? Jesus, what the fuck is wrong with these judges?
This is mean.
And Charles, the person she supposedly had an alliance with, betrays her at the last minute.
I heard pretty much from everybody on Siskaiden's team a lot of bad things about Siskaiden's performance. So, like Frankenstein, I decided it was time to kill my monster.
He's an asshole. He backstabbed me.
Siskaiden, I'm sorry. Your game ends here.
She honestly looks happy to have been kicked off.
I'm fine. Let me just go and nap now. I'm so sick of these people.
For what it's worth, this episode does have one great moment. After the competition ends and the contestants close the door to leave, the tallest tower crumbles at that precise moment. You see, that's hilarious. That's exactly the kind of stuff reality TV should be about. Just capturing real, candid moments as they happen. Wait a second, what's that? Is that a string? They just pulled it down with a string. Fuck, is anything on this show real? Actually, don't answer that.
I knew I wasn't gonna reach Diddy status.
Reach Diddy status.
The real goal is to reach Diddy status.
You know, for the penultimate episode of the season, this one sure is uneventful. And I know I'm beating a dead horse at this point by calling the show boring, but I think this is the most boring episode. The contestants are asked gaming-related trivia questions, and if they answer correctly, they get to dunk one of their rivals in a tank of water. There's nothing to say about this episode. Nothing noteworthy or interesting happens at any point.
Good luck on today's challenge. Kind of wish I had some sunflower seeds to watch everything play out, but
Ha ha! What the fuck does that mean, Brent? Shut the fuck up.
Though if I were to note one positive, it would be that this episode has the least drama of any thus far, likely because of the absence of a certain contestant. But don't think just because she's no longer here that everyone else is gonna stop taking swipes at her.
It was a good grounder. Just pretend it's Siskaiden in front of you.
Oh my god. What
Bro,
the fuck?
You spineless two-faced fuck.
Where'd you learn how to throw, Siskaiden?
What the fuck? Why does everyone keep roasting? She's not even here.
And as usual, the game is designed stupidly.
Name the 2 girls who made it to the finale in seasons 1.
If you don't stop reading the question when they buzz in, then there's no incentive for them not to buzz in on the first word.
Yeah.
In Final Fantasy 13, what is the name of the main protagonist and her sister?
There's no reason for them not to buzz immediately.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Ultimately, after a long, hard, and dare I say, testy game, it's Skylar who's sent home.
Sky Diddy, your game ends here.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Hey, it was either going to be a Skylar White joke or a Diddy joke, so I made my choice. This leaves just Charles, Wilson, and Christy for the TESTER finale, the event of the millennium. Thank God we've made it to the end because this show has really been testing my patience. Okay, technically I lied to you guys because there actually is one more episode that comes before the finale, but I don't really count it because it's not a real episode. As previously mentioned, the show's ratings completely cratered the moment Aaron was kicked off the show, and I believe this episode was Sony's last desperate attempt to win some of those lost viewers back because Aaron just so happens to be the face on this episode's thumbnail. In fact, this whole episode is just unused footage from the previous episodes, much of which happens to be of Aaron. And in case you're wondering, no, there wasn't an episode like this in the prior 2 seasons. They suddenly decided to do it for the first time now. I wonder why. I mean, clearly it paid off. This episode has 3 times as many views as the episode before. And the episode after, which is the finale. So I guess that tells you all you need to know. This is just pathetic at this point. Like, if you wanted Aaron to stay on your show longer, you could have just not kicked him off. I guess this episode's good if you were just dying for more tester content. Like, if you said to yourself, gee, I sure wish that weird creepy monologue about how hot the females in the house are from the first episode was longer, this episode has an extended cut of it. It goes for 1.5 minutes now.
She was wearing some leather pleather or something, and it was just tight, you know. I'm not trying to, say nothing, but damn, she get it. I got a weakness for Asians, you know what I'm saying? It's an automatic. I was just like, that's some Asian crazy stuff right there. I gotta grab that.
You know what, Tester 3? As penance for wasting my time with this fake episode, you better have an extra good finale or else I'm gonna be real mad. I suppose it's fitting that this is the finale because this is the only time it feels like they put some amount of actual effort into devising the episode. This almost feels up to the standards of a cheap Amazing Race knockoff. Once again, absolutely nothing to do with game testing, but if you just take it as its own thing, this is the most tolerable that the show gets. So the challenge is presented in 4 parts. First, they have to untangle themselves from this rack, then get in a car and memorize the order of a bunch of signs. If they get the order right, they can move on to a minefield with a bunch of blue balls in it, and when they smash the blue balls, it has puzzle pieces inside, and when you put the puzzle pieces together, it has a riddle on it, and when they solve the riddle, then they can open a briefcase, at which point they get into another car and then drive back to the studio and play some Starhawk, and whoever beats the level of Starhawk first wins. It might be a little all over the place, but hey, it's not boring. Though it would be nice if they'd figured out a way to factor melons into the challenge somehow, because as it is, I feel a little blue-balled. When it comes to finales like this, producers are usually very careful to make sure there's never a clear winner so that viewers will be kept on their toes. In that regard, this finale was a massive success. First, Wilson takes the lead, but then he gets completely stuck on the segment where you have to memorize the order of a bunch of icons, at which point Charles passes him, but then Charles gets stuck on the briefcase riddle, at which point Christy passes him, and ultimately all 3 of them make it to the final game around the same time. Unfortunately, as someone who's never played this game, none of this footage means anything to me, but I'm sure that it's really intense.
There it is.
He just did it.
He won.
That was the fucking least climactic. Yeah, that was really anticlimactic.
Ultimately, Wilson takes it, making him the 3rd ever tester. However, I think this episode was rigged too. More specifically, I don't think that Wilson ever figured out the order of the signs and they just let him pass because they didn't want him to be stuck there.
Done?
Yes.
Finally.
Why do I say that? Well, firstly, he's easily the most likable candidate of the 3, and I suspect he was the producer's favorite to win as he was the audience's. 2, obviously they'd want all 3 contestants to be playing the game at the same time for the grand finale. If one was all the way back here, it would kind of harm the tension of those final moments. And 3, You never actually get to see the final order he put the icons in. You get to see the order that Charles and Christy put their symbols in, but for Wilson, you just see it from the back. Hey guys, it's Verdana during the editing process, just jumping in to say that while I was going over the footage, I noticed that the back side of each of these blocks have very distinct patterns on them. Theoretically, just by analyzing these patterns, I could tell what order he had the blocks in at the end, and wouldn't you know, there's a shot just slightly before this that shows the blocks in the exact same order he had them in at the end, and when the camera pans around, you can see that it's wrong. So, he had it in the wrong order. It's right there, clear as day. Like, I looked it up online and didn't see anyone else saying the finale was rigged. Maybe that's because like 95% of viewers hopped off before getting to this point, but still, this whole finale is a sham.
Done?
Yes.
Charles and Christy were cheated out of victory. That's not great. So that's it. That's the ending of the Tester 3. And what a show it was. Now, a lot of reality shows that have a job as the grand prize have a section that takes place a few months later at the end where we get to see how the winner's doing and how they settled into their new life. But this show doesn't have that. Probably because the creators had some self-awareness. But I am curious to know, what became of Wilson in his new position? For reference, the two previous winners, Cyrus and Gamer, didn't last very long in their positions. In fact, from what I can gather online, neither of them stayed for longer than a year. An odd outcome for a job that's supposedly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So going into this, I wasn't super confident that Wilson would still work at Sony today. And sure enough, from a cursory glance at his LinkedIn profile, he left after 11 months. So, I guess that's that. Or it would be had he stayed gone, but guess what? A few years later in 2016, he came back to Santa Monica Studios. And then he left again. And then in 2020, he came back to Santa Monica again. And you know what? After grinding it out for several more years in that position, he finally graduated to a non-QA position. It took over 10 years of various stints at various companies, but by God, Wilson pulled it off. He actually earned himself a creative job at PlayStation. You know, I might make fun of this show and its prize for being stupid, because it is. Sure, the competitions made no sense, and sure, his win was kind of illegitimate, but I can't say that part of me isn't proud of Wilson for managing to turn this shitty entry-level job into an actual career path. What a nice, happy note to end on. I sure hope the other contestants found similar success. Like, remember Ninjanomics? That sure was a wacky guy. I wonder what he's up to today. I'll just search him up real quick to find out. Okay, well, unless there's another guy in the Bronx who has the same exact name as him and is the same exact age as him, then he was convicted of homicide in 2019. I don't even think I should make a joke about that, honestly. That's just horrible. Let's just pretend that we don't know that. On a slightly more cheery note, it would appear that Lizarette has made something of herself in the years since the show first aired. She became an advocate for autism awareness, regularly gives public talks on the matter, started a family, and has authored several children's books. And good for her. Unfortunately, I suspect she still may be on the receiving end of mean comments from people who watch the show, since the comment sections on all of her social media pages have been disabled and her DMs are closed. I tried to reach out to her for an interview, but unfortunately I couldn't get through to her. In fact, I couldn't get through to fucking anyone from this season on social media. But for what it's worth, a different YouTuber, Tamago, managed to get 6 different contestants from season 1 of the Tester to chat with him for over 2 hours, and they spill the beans on all kinds of behind-the-scenes chicanery from that season, so if you're interested in that, I'd recommend giving it a watch.
What were the conditions of being at the PlayStation compound or the Sony house, whatever they called it? Is that kind of a show, or
It was all a lie.
We didn't stay there. We didn't stay there.
I wanted to ask, Star in that episode, she's shown to just be standing completely still, not doing anything. From your perspective, what was Star doing during that challenge?
She did her role. They told me to stand there and wait for a minute. They're like, we're setting up the cameras. That's when they were filming me, when they were just setting up the cameras. So that part where I was just standing there doing nothing,
right,
it's because they were setting up the cameras, and that's what they used the footage for.
They were setting up Star to be that person, the bad person that was just getting through shit.
and people were going to hate her.
The people who make these shows are liars. It's important to remember that the way people are characterized on these shows have real-world consequences for them, especially when they don't have a platform of their own to set the record straight. Here's a quote from a former Hell's Kitchen contestant.
Production would come in and mess with ingredients, swap out your salt and sugar, so people would look like complete fucking assholes. I didn't get my period for 6 weeks after I left. My doctor said it was stress. I became borderline suicidal after the show.
So keeping in mind that most people seem to be aware of everything we've covered today about reality television, what continues to draw people to it? And if these shows dropped all pretenses of being reality and marketed themselves as fully scripted shows performed by actors, would anybody still watch them? Honestly, I seriously doubt it. In fact, that's not just a hunch. There's data to back that up.
And if I'd found out halfway through that Survivor was scripted, I wouldn't have any interest in watching it. It's kind of like finding out that Milli Vanilli was lip-syncing. Why buy their records?
People want to believe that what they're seeing is real, because that's what gives it meaning. Otherwise, you're just left with some repetitive, formulaic, and poorly shot theater. Now, that doesn't mean that people aren't aware that what they're watching may be manipulated. The study I just cited delves into how viewers may be aware of paradoxes in what they're watching, and yet it doesn't affect their enjoyment. Some people claim that they only watch these shows ironically, yet they still get enveloped in the show's storyline all the same. Viewers who profess to hate a certain contestant ultimately still admitted the show would be worse if they weren't there because, well, every story needs a villain. Most are aware that reality television blends reality with fiction, but choosing to ignore this distinction and take everything you're seeing at face value makes the viewing experience more fun. It's nice to believe that the outcome of the challenges you're watching were truly merit-based as opposed to being decided ahead of time by producers, even if that nagging voice in the back of your head tells you it's probably not true. It's nice to believe that the asshole contestant that everyone on the show hated is actually an asshole and deserved it, because the alternative, that they were bullied and mischaracterized for your entertainment, is a lot less pleasant to think about. And I fear that in the age of AI, when it becomes more and more difficult to discern what's real from what isn't, it'll be easier than ever for these sorts of shows to pull the wool over a viewer's eyes. There won't always be a visible string and frame to let you know when something isn't real. Ultimately, I think viewers do a lot of the producer's work for them in terms of making the unbelievable believable. We love seeing people who've been labeled bad guys get eviscerated not only in the entertainment we watch, but in real life as well, whether or not they may actually deserve it. Us humans are suckers for narratives, and we love clearly defined good guys and bad guys, because at the end of the day, we just want to be entertained. Until you get a show like The Tester, which is so spectacularly unentertaining that a viewer will have no motivation to even try suspending their disbelief. There are no good qualities in sight worth caring about, so why even bother lying to yourself that it's real? And that's why, when viewed purely as a piece of entertainment, The Tester is definitely the worst reality show I've ever seen. I fear to imagine a show that could ever top it. But then again, never say never. Welcome back, everyone, to the Fryer season finale. We've had an exciting season with some thrills and some spills.
Should never put the deep fryer so close.
Embarrassing! But here we are at the end, the final two contestants, Old McDonald and Grease Trap. Both contestants are competing to see who can cook more fries. The winner will gain the coveted title of McDonald's next fry cook.
Let's do it. This is fun. I could do this all day. I wouldn't mind this job.
Oh, hold on, guys. Hello? Speaking.
Excuse me? We said no phones?
Oh, really? Oh, that's great news. Yeah, I'll be in on Tuesday. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
What was that?
Who was that? Oh, I just got my new job.
Job? What do you mean job?
Oh, I applied to be a fry cook. You're competing for a job right now.
That's the whole show. That's the whole point of the show.
Well, you know, it is an entry-level job.
Yo, fine, you ruined the show.
Get out. Yeah, you know what? I guess I don't really need to be here anymore, huh?
Alright, well, tell you what, Old McDonald. You just won the fryer. You're now McDonald's next fryer. Pretty exciting, right? I know. I think this is your calling. You shouldn't pursue anything else.
Sky Diddy's so fine, man.
He's so fine.
Takes out my last life. I take a
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
No, he hasn't been dunked once or even chosen to be chosen to be.
No, I know.
dunked.
It's just the way he's like, he's so fine.
Come on, don't twist my words.
That's what you said. You're just like, Sky Diddy is so fine.
I don't think he's fine. I think his beard is obnoxious. And, you know who's fine? It's fucking Achilles.
I know you just said it.
And the white
I'm
girl.
going to,
I keep forgetting Christy.
I literally have audio of you just going, Sky Diddy's so fine.
No, but Sky Diddy's so fine though.
Why didn't you stay and help your teammates shoot the melons?